Good frickin' morning to all of you. What's going on? What's going on? Going on? Oh man, I'm having a hell of a funny day this morning. I've never seen so many silly people in my life. It's like I don't get it. We hundreds of cities we've had these idiotic protests over immigration, and the only thing that ever comes out of it is a whole bunch of moronic leftists go to jail and get criminal records, and they still are not stopping constitutional legal freaking immigration. We have the right to deport people. I don't know what they're fighting about. You're not stopping immigration laws. The federal government is going to enforce them. States can't stop them from being enforced. City mayors can't stop ICE from coming into their cities and deporting people. It's the law. But yet you're and I don't know if they're special needs or what, but you get all these leftist morons thinking they can stand in front of law enforcement vehicles and you know I don't get it. There has to be something in the mind of an ignorant liberal that they just think that, oh, I'll stand in front of a vehicle and then I go to jail and then I'm mad because I went to jail because I was obstructing law enforcement. Duh. You know. And they're like, we have the right to protest. Yeah, you have the right to stand on the fucking sidewalk out of the fucking way with your stupid ass sign, bitch. You don't have the right to put your hands on an officer. You don't have the right to assault somebody. You don't have the right to stand in the middle of the fucking street. So you're no longer a protester. You don't have the right to attack the fence, attack the facility. You're not protesters. You're anarchists. You know? Yeah, you have the free right to go out as an American and protest. But there's a difference between peacefully protesting something and opening your frickin' psychopathic mind is two different things. Morning, Don. You know, were the idiots on January 6th this is stupid? Yeah. A lot of them broke the law and a lot of them went to jail for it. But that's besides the point. You have the right as a free citizen of the United States to protest. You don't have the right to block roads, attack cops, attack other people, attack the facility, take over facilities. I mean, there's many don'ts you can't do. Many, like hundreds. You can't block law enforcement from doing their job. They can still go out and arrest people, detain people. It's the law. It's what they do. You got all these people that are just, they're so ignorant. I don't understand what's going on here. It's fun. I come to your channel. I can't comment on the beach. It's just silly to me that, there's, and you got these people that they just feel so righteous in what they do. It's like, you're not being righteous. You're being ignorant. You know, if you want immigration laws changed, you take it to the Congress. You don't take it to the frickin' street. You don't take it to the immigration center. That's just pissing off millions and millions of people that voted to have frickin' immigrants deported, right? Well, illegal immigrants and immigrants that have committed crimes. If you committed a crime, you get deported. So, you know, it's all in black and white. It's pretty simple black and white. What I love the most, though, what I love the most is you have these dumbass bastards that say that it's not a crime to come in the United States illegal. It is a crime. It is a misdemeanor crime for the first offense that is tried civilly in a civil court. It is still a misdemeanor crime to illegally enter into the United States on the first time offense. It's a felony for a second time offense. So if you've been caught and you've been expedited for deportation and you get caught again, it is a felony. So when I hear these even these lawyers, they drive me fucking nuts. These fucking lawyer morons. Yes, we try it civilly, but it's still a misdemeanor crime. It's still a criminal offense. But it's a low grade. But these people, they're like, read the freaking law. The law is pretty specific on the matter, you know. But you have all these stupid people that just like, good God, you can't be dumb. Well, I take that back. You can be that dumb because they have proved it for shit since last year, you know. And Jersey, it was like a war zone last night. The Jersey PD were out there with the horses and they were trampling people. And yeah, they were doing they were doing riot control because you idiots aren't protesting. You're rioting. You're breaking the law. You know, fuck me. I think there should be a class on physical legal protesting and rioting. I mean, there should be like a physical class, you know, because inciting a riot is a felony crime in the United States. So you could be charged for inciting riots, by the way. So these people with these little blowhorns and bullshit like that, getting people all worked up to incite riots, you can go to jail for a long time for that. That's a felony. Just to let you know. So, because you're no longer peacefully protesting, you're inciting a riot. And you can be financially charged for every penny that's caused during the riot. Oh, a long time ago, they should have been deported. I mean, you know, and that's my. I get so sick and tired of listening to these people that if you've been here more than a year and you haven't applied for your citizenship, go home, get out. You've been here a year, you know. There's no excuse. And these people have been here for 30 years in hiding, and I'm supposed to give you the whole, oh, you've been, I don't give a shit. You broke the law. Go home. You know? And then I love the fact that you have these leftists that are, you're racist because you're deporting people. Well, I'm sorry, right there. The term illegal has nothing to do with race. It has to do with people's legability to be here, you know? It doesn't have nothing to do with color, race, ethnicity. It's all about citizenship. You broke the law. I just don't understand that. And the problem is if you ask any of these idiot leftists actually to have a conversation with them, they don't get it. They're just really that stupid. They can't explain to you anything. All they do is spread leftist propaganda of shit that they've heard. You know, they're like, you know. And I always love the fact it's always the food has maggots and all that. Prison food is one of the most regulated fucking food out, even in frickin' immigration holding centers. You know, it's just the fact that they go on the road going, they're feeding the maggots. No, they're not. They're not feeding the maggots. They're not abusing those people. They're not whipping them. They're not making them. Now, you know, stupid thing is, this is what drives me nuts. And people say, well, you can't bring back Obama and Joe Biden. I can because technically, when Obama was president, hundreds of thousands of kids were on concrete floors in little 8x8 cages, like dog kennels. Okay. Leftists said nothing. Leftists protested nothing. Joe Biden, same thing. At least the Trump immigration centers, they have schools. They literally have lunch lines for children. I mean, some of those immigration centers are fuck nicer than our public schools. I mean, so, and I do find it funny that, and all the, what was it, almost 500,000 children that Joe Biden lost are in all these blue cities that are trying to stop ICE from rescuing these children. Somebody explain that one to me. You know, and all the cities that ICE is going to look for children and drug lords and all that. And how the hell could you protest against taking drug dealers and gangbangers off the streets? I don't understand it. You know. And another thing, studies out of the Obama administration proved deporting illegal immigrants benefits the black community. So, you know, the numbers don't lie. You know, just the fact that, and you can see it on the West Coast. I've seen it. I've seen freaking whole black cities raised in the last 20 years that are now fully immigrant. minority immigrant neighborhoods. Blacks are all, there's no blacks anywhere on the West Coast. They literally have deleted them, right, over the last 20 years. And all these people are going, yeah, you can virtually see it with your own eyes. All these once beautiful black communities are all Mexican or all Asian or all Ukrainian. They're no longer black neighborhoods. They've all been completely depleted, gone, erased. You know, you can see it on the East Coast, the West Coast, right? Yeah, you can see it. You can even see it in the Chicago, around the Great Lake areas, around the Chicago, the metropolitan area around Chicago. You can see once prominent black neighborhoods that are now majority all Puerto Rican, Mexican, Asian. They're you know, and I think it's funny that the blacks keep voting Democrat when they're trying to delete you. They're trying to erase you from the population. But oh, I know somebody's going to be like, Grumpy's a racist. I don't give a shit. You can call me anything you want to for telling the truth. I haven't had a good death threat in a few days. It's fine. You people don't scare me. You don't scare me at all. Now, if I had $1 for every death threat I've gotten over the last 20 years for being a Republican, I could have retired on a beautiful beach somewhere. I'll just start when I started YouTube in my first 6 weeks, 7 weeks, first 7 weeks. I probably got over 100 death threats. It's okay. I like you people. You humor me. I just don't understand people and their silliness. Your protesting is not stopping us from enforcing the laws. Hell, I got ice on speed dial. If I walk into a business that has primarily illegal immigrants working there, which is against the law, which affects multiple communities of Americans of getting jobs, especially in today's job market, I'm going to call immigration on your ass. Trust me, I will report your business every day of the freaking week. I don't give a fuck. You're a 7-Eleven, you're a Pizza Hut, you're a big industrial freaking warehouse. If your people ain't got proper paperwork, trust me, I'm going to report your ass because you're taking away jobs. Okay? And I'm going to do it. I don't care. And I think your business should be fined, and I think you should go to jail. You know? I'll just look over in Seattle. Look over on Martin Luther King Boulevard Way or Sunset Boulevard there, right down in Renton there, all that area. Shit, for years that used to be prominent black, and now it's all Hindu, Muslim, Asian, Mexican. I mean, even in Renton, you can see the black community completely. You know, they did it in Puyallup, all down in Tacoma, and all them, all the, you know, they're on Portland Avenue. That used to be prominent black area, not anymore. And people say nuts. I'm not nuts. I've seen it in real life, real time. You know, I'll give you streets and areas just to go with it. You know, Highway 30, Portland Avenue down in frickin' Portland used to be a prominent black area. Not anymore. Last 20 years, it's completely, they've depleted the black neighborhoods. You know, people think I'm crazy. No, Grumpy travels a lot. Almost 2.5 million frickin' miles Grumpy has traveled. Don't tell me what I haven't frickin' seen. You know, that's weird to me that like this old lady, she got in a fight with me. I'm like, she was going off on all the bad shit. You know, I'm like, well, you know, you see, here's the problem, don't you? Stop voting Democrat. And she's like, but the Democrats have done so much. What have the Democrats done for the black community? Zero. Other than write laws to throw your ass in jail, keep your frickin' city, your communities frickin' bankrupt, keep you on government public assistance. They've erased millions of jobs in your communities. You know, they make you live in cockroach infested freaking low income housing. More than epic. You know, and then you got idiots like Mandami that wants to spend $20 billion on building more low income housing. You know, when a mayor or governor starts saying that they want to build more low income housing, you know what that means? That means they've destroyed all main good jobs in the area. There is no longer any more good jobs. That is a negative, not a positive. If they want to spend $22 billion in taxpayers' money to build more low income in housing, that means you're fucked. That's what that means. And basically what it turns around means is they're going to build 2 complexes and spend probably $200 million. And that other 20 fucking $billion is going to go in some backdoor bullshit frickin' unit or government project that you don't need to know about. All right. Well, there's another big scam on the West Coast. Homelessness. They made the homeless crisis, and hundreds of billions of dollars for the homeless crisis. Still have homeless. I know I keep hearing the left say if we just taxed the billionaires, we wouldn't have any more homeless. Well, we do tax the billionaires. We do tax the rich. And fuck, we got more homeless. No, you're not curing the crisis, Fuck, you guys the Democrats have caused more homeless. And now it's worse because now we have zombie drug addicts that are pooping and peeing all over the frickin' streets. Having coitus and all sorts of nasty ass stuff. Trust me, I don't want to walk over a whole bunch of drug addict homeless people having coitus in the middle of the frickin' sidewalk when I go to the big cities, It's like you got to put on a biohazardous suit just to walk around. It's getting bad. I mean, it's just horrible, I'm not a big fan of that Pratt guy down there in L.A. running for that fake Republican running for mayor. I guess he has his own interest, but I don't think he's a Republican. I don't care what he says. There's nothing Republican about that man, but he is better than the mayor that they have. She's a moron, Oh yeah, your tent cities, your RV parking, and all that. It's just, Well, here's my thought process. If I ever become homeless and I had to live, you know what? I sure the hell would not move to a big city. I'd move to the coast. I'd make me a little hobbit house on the beach. And I'd be living on crab and shellfish and fishies, and I'd be living it up. All right. I ain't gonna go to live in no damn city and frickin' eat out of a dumpster. No. God no. I gotta be chill, baby. Shopping later. Oh, I went shopping this morning. There was like one person in the whole store. Me. It was great. I didn't have to, I didn't have to. I mean, yeah, the prices are a little bit higher in the small town, but I don't mind paying a little bit higher prices when I don't have to deal with people. But I'm really selfish that way. Hey, I actually have one of the best. Actually, what scares the hell out of me? What scares the hell out of me? So I've had this idea for 20 years, 24 years now, that we need to start building rehabilitation farms, right? Collecting all the homeless in the cities and sending them out to real rehabilitation farms where they grow their own food, they get detox, they go through re-education, to find them job, and so they're not in the cities. They're not contaminating the environment. They're actually getting the help they need. We could do the whole project for less than $1 billion, literally nationwide, right? We have a lot of vast frickin' area that we can send the homeless to into these camps. I know when you use camps, you got to use rehabilitation farms. Okay, so, but what scares me is the Democrats are starting, people like Bill Maher are starting to agree with me, right? It was like every day I keep telling them each governor could cut down fuel prices by $1 by writing tax. Guess who agreed with me? Joe fucking Biden. It's pretty bad when a Democrat starts agreeing with me, but Republicans are so stupid fucking morons to listen. Call your damn governors. Tell them to write a fucking tax bill to reduce the fucking fuel. It is plausible. It's happened before. Your governor can right now cut all grocery prices, all gas prices. They can cut your electricity prices. They have the authority. They have the power. Oh, but you know what? They always seem to keep raising taxes. You know, they keep saying, well, we need to, but, and then every time I hear people like AOC and Bernie Sanders and Jasmine Crockett and all that, you know, Bernie Sanders hasn't done shit his whole time as senator. He hasn't done shit. AOC hasn't done shit. Jasmine Crockett hasn't done shit. But you know what they have done? They've destroyed their districts. They've caused high inflation. They've caused a lot of low income people to be in poverty. Their districts are worse now than they were when they took them. The weird thing is, though, is people keep voting for them. I don't understand that one. Mm-hmm. So, you know, Russia bombed that other country that, you know, nationally blew up a apartment. You know, you don't really hear much razzle dazzle going on in Europe, especially NATO. Because technically, you know, Russia did kill civilians in a NATO. I don't hear anything. I know everyone's like, Trump needs to do something. Why do we need to do anything? We're leaving NATO for a reason. We were told that we weren't worth anything and we need to go away. now we're exiting. Everyone's like, but what about America? No, what about us anymore? Come to America, Epic. We'll take you. Just get your paperwork, you know. Because I mean, in grand scheme of, I do see though in the next 10 years, and this is just my prediction. It could not come true or not, but actually, it's kind of coming true now. You can already see it that as soon as the United States 100% removes itself from NATO, you're going to see all out chaos in Europe. You have the big seven nations over there freaking arming the hell out of themselves, and we watched that in history multiple times. Every time they go full ornament, whatever the fuck the word is, dyslexia time. Normally a war breaks out. So, but, but I can tell you how worthless. Uh, I know they like to call it international law, right? World law, and all that. You know how freaking worthless that is. Nobody enforces it. So if you have laws that nobody enforces, are they really laws? No, you know, because technically Russia committed crimes against humanity. He committed a war act. So therefore Europe needs to go arrest his ass, like we did that little Venezuelan guy. You know, I mean, it's probably not going to be as easy to go kidnap arrest the Maduro guy as it is Putin, but you know, it's your job as NATO, right? That's the whole point of NATO, is to go stop these warlords from committing atrocities against humanity, right? Hell, right now, the Russian people would probably give you Putin. They'd probably hand him over willingly. Oh, yeah, Germany and Poland are going a little nutso right now. You never have to worry about the French or the Italians. Bunch of that, And Scotland and Ireland will always support England, so UK and Wales and all that. So that's they'll pretty much all stick together. But yeah, you got a lot of countries over there going nutso right now, though. You guys might all lose free health care after NATO breaks up. But it's like the UN. How freaking worthless is the UN? It was like they were literally slaughtering black people in Africa. The UN wasn't doing shit about it. And the WHO is about just as freaking worthless. The World Health Organization, they're worthless. They don't do anything to cure any worldly diseases. I think they cause majority of them. I don't trust the WHO at all. I don't trust the WHO at all because have you noticed since the WHO took over, we've had a lot of deadly viruses break out all over Africa and other countries since the WHO took over. Not a conspiracist, but I'm just saying, ever since the WHO took major control, there's been a lot of deadly viruses breaking out that never existed before. But who doggy, you know? And you know what's weird to me is this. I live up north, and all of us northern people live up by the glaciers and all that. Where the billion-year-old bacteria and shit like that, and stuff start to melt and come into our rivers and shit like that. You think we would be getting sick? The Canadians, Northern America, the North Americans, Alaskans, and people that are actually people in Russia, because the polar glacier melts and all that. Do you think we would be getting sick with some kind of old bacteria disease that we don't have cures for? Nope, we're not. We're not. But amazingly, Central America, Africa, India, like the extremely overpopulated, low third grade world countries, they seem to always keep getting these weird freaking diseases ever since the WHO took over. I think the WHO should be investigating. That's just, because the places that should be like breaking out in like major freaking diseases and all that are not breaking out major diseases, but the places that are would not be. That should start to worry people. They don't. They don't worry though. They just. It was kind of like Haiti, and this one really drives me nuts. Okay, so Haiti broke out in a civil war, right? And we brought a whole bunch of Haitians into the United States. It would have been cheaper in the long run if the UN would have done their job and put the country under martial law and got rid of all the bad people, right? And then all the Haitians could have just like fixed their own country, right? Same with Mexico and a couple other countries that are poop holes. Uganda. Actually, Uganda's actually doing pretty good. They're killing a lot of people, but they're doing a little bit better than they were. So, but I'm just saying in general, if who are you talking about, Grumpy? Who took over? Where? Down in? Are we talking about? Are we talking about in? No, fuck! I just lost track. Down in Haiti, the drug lords and warlords and the took over. Fuck Haiti. Haiti's a freaking shithole. You get shot in Haiti right now. Been that way ever since we had that big hurricane down there. It's just nothing but gangs and crimes and Been like that for at least 10 years. But my whole point was, though, if the UN would have stepped in like they're supposed to into these smaller countries and help them out like they're supposed to, what they're designed for, we wouldn't have such major chaos around the world, right? That's just what I'm saying. Yeah, Haiti's not a cool place to. That would be like going to Cuba right now. Cuba is another country that should have been. The UN should have stepped in years ago and put right. Another one of those countries that should have been. I mean, I'd say North Korea too, but North Korea is kind of a no touchy because of China. But I mean, the whole point of the United Nations is to stop crimes against humanity, correct? I mean, that's their whole. So that's why they got their little blue helmets and all that, Their old weird little world military. Don't travel out of the country. It's scary. I mean, it's. It was like the other. I love these people come on the show and they're always like, "Well, I've been to Mexico." No, you've been to white Mexico. There's a difference between being to white Mexico and actually Mexico. Big difference. Really big difference. Go down to Nogales, Mexico. Go down to Nogales, Mexico. Travel across that border. You will see real Mexico. You're not going to like it too much. People always humors me when they travel abroad and all that, and they go to the luxury resort areas of the country, and they're like, "Oh, the country's so beautiful." Yeah, because it's designed for you to bring money into their country. That's it. You've never been to the shitholes, where people sleep on dirt floors and they're covered in cockroaches and fleas and lice, and they have to pack water in from the community well 10 miles to have water, And then you got people that go down to Africa and they dig wells for these people. Well, they dig shallow wells and they only go to first water, right? Quit hand digging wells in Africa. Go down 1,000 feet. Get a drill company out there and start drilling down 1,000 feet to actual physical water. Well, they'll have water for 200 years, 300 years. But no, these idiots go down, they dig down to first water, first rain off. So, yeah, every time the freaking monsoons come in, you get first water. And they run out of water in 3 months. They deplete the wells in less than 3 months. But it's like, you got to drill down to water. You can't just dig down 50, 60 feet and go, "Oh, we found water." Because shit, that water's not even clean yet. It hasn't been filtered properly. But I still go back to my whole original thing years ago. Mexico is. Go to most of your Hispanic cities in the United States. Mexico looks worse. Mm-hmm. Cuba is a complete frickin'. They got piled every street in Cuba right now is just covered in trash, rats and feces, and America's actually not. It depends on where you go in America. America still has a lot of really beautiful areas. A lot of not so many beautiful areas, but I still want to travel the Philippines. Yeah, the Philippines is a horrible mess right now. When we controlled the Philippines, the Philippines were they were prosperous. Then they kicked us out. They were like, no more America, get out. And after they kicked us out, the country went bloop. So see, I think England had the right idea when they were sending everybody to Australia, right? We need to find a specific area, just a specific area in the world, right, where we can just ship all the world liberals to there. Just bloop, let them build their own country. I think it'd be fan frickin' snastic. What do you think? Think we'd get away with it? Yeah, you couldn't even. You'd have to come here for 5 years on vacation just to see 20% of America. Epic. Just 20%. You'd have to just to. Yeah, America's huge. That's just my whole and half thought of the day. I still don't know why these people are protesting immigration. I mean, they're always about democracy. The first thing about democracy is having immigration laws. You have to, if you don't have borders, you don't have a democracy. You don't have an actual physical government. You don't have a civilization. You don't have a country. So, you know, I think Democrats they want freaking world dominance. I think that's what they just want every country to be one country under one king. Oh, I do love that one the most. So they had all these no king protests, right? And then the king showed up, and they're all the king, the king. I think it's Prince William's the older son, right? Yeah, William's the older son. I think he's trying to do a coup against the king himself because he is completely. I was watching a thing on him the other day. So who's Charles' wife? Queen Epic. Who's your queen? I can't think of her name right now, but um, oh shit, what's her name? The Queen of England. Well, she's not really I think she doesn't hold the title queen. I think she still holds some kind of because she wasn't even really royalty when kind of like the last queen. Her husband was never king because he was. Yeah, thank you. That's why they made him the commander of all militaries because he could never hold the title of king. Anyways, back to what I was saying though. I think Prince William is trying to. He has a coup going against because he literally has wiped out all of her family. Camilla or whatever hell her name is has literally de unroyalized her whole freaking family. They have no ties. All their business and all that completely got cut off. Yeah, I really wish Diana was still alive. She was cool. I like Diana. I think everybody loved Diana. Everybody, everybody but the royal family liked Diana. But. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, but what do you do? I know Michael Jackson was just totally just in love with Princess Diana. He just loved her so much. So did Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean loved Diana, Princess Diana. Just loved the hell out of her. Nobody gives the new queen any respect. Everybody just kind of like, they give her the, of course, I tell you one thing. I think if Princess Diana was still alive today, I don't think you'd be having so many problems in England like you're having today. I think she would be very, because she was very big on keeping culture alive, and you know, I don't think that it's hard to tell though. It's just hard to tell. Oh, I don't have that picture anymore. My ice shopping carts for sale. I have to go find that picture. Make a short about it today, just to. But back to my original complaint though about like immigration though. Well, it's not even really immigration. I'm for enforcing immigration 100%. You know, and the biggest problem is if these fake sanctuary cities that are completely unconstitutional, completely illegal as hell, you cannot give somebody sanctuary in a city. That you can't stop immigration federal laws from being enforced. It's completely asinine. But if municipalities would actually do their jobs and hand over the bad illegals, the rapists, the murderers, the drug dealers, the gang people, the people actually that are bad people, and actually handing them over to immigration like they're supposed to, then you wouldn't have to have so many ICE agents in your communities, right? If your municipalities, your cities, just hand over the criminals like they're supposed to instead of releasing them back into the freaking streets, you know. Because even Obama, I love the most. Even Obama did this. Obama sent ICE into cities, into raids and shit like that, and nobody blinked a freaking eye when Obama did it. Obama did the same thing Trump is doing. You know, the only difference is Trump's doing it, so it's bad, bad orange man, bad, bad. It's like that shit really just drives me absolutely fucking nuts. When the Democrats do something, it's okay, but when Obama, when a Republican does it, it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world. The sky is burning. The sky is falling. Oh, I think the difference is, though, it's easier to manipulate a Democrat than it is to manipulate a Republican because you can tell a Democrat anything, and they're all crazy. Look at that Greta chick. She humors me. I like her. That little Thunberg chick, you know. Which I still think she should be in prison. I'm sorry. When she was aiding a terrorist organization, she should have been arrested under international law. I'm sorry. She was trying to aid a terrorist organization, which is a crime internationally. She should have been arrested and put in prison. I'm sorry, but that's what I'm saying. Well, look at my senator here in Washington. She was trying to go against the federal government and give aid to Cuba. Cuba is our enemy right now. I'm sorry for the Cubans and all that, but we are in a military conflict against Cuba. They are the enemy. A U.S. senator cannot render aid to the enemy. That is treason. It's like, but yet she hasn't been arrested. That shit's starting to piss me off. If we have all these idiot frickin', if you break the law, if you commit treason, you should be arrested, right? Washington State Patrol should be asshole deep, go into her house and put her in fucking handcuffs. She committed treason. She should be tried for it. I'm a little annoyed at Washington State Patrol right now, not arresting that bitch. Right? I'm a little mad at the federal government for not arresting her. Marco Rubin's Cuban. No, he's an American. He was born here in America. Ted Cruz, on the other hand, though, Ted Cruz is not American. He's natural. He's naturalized, but he's not. So he can never be. You definitely know who the traitors are. I give you that much, but yeah, I don't have faith in our cops around here. And what? Not since they passed all the new laws that pretty much tied their hands. Police in Washington State can't do shit. They pretty much. Technically, you want to hear something funny, Don? If you read our state constitution, technically, city cops could not have firearms. If you actually read I think it's the 22nd or 24th Amendment in Washington State, city cops are not allowed to have firearms. I'm really surprised that the liberals haven't pushed that point, because no city in Washington State is allowed to have an armed body force or an armed security force. What is an officer? An armed security force to protect the state. Yeah, that's actually in our state constitution. I've always thought that one was funny. Well, state cops are allowed to have firearms, and U.S. Marshals in the state of Washington. Yep. So I'm really surprised that they've never enforced that law here in Washington, because I mean it's actually in our constitution. It's never been amended. It's never been fixed. It's actually so. You know. It's like people. What I love about people, and they always talk about the Constitution. They haven't read their own state constitutions, right? Let alone the federal Constitution, which are supposed to coincide with each other, right? Like I was watching this one YouTuber the other day, and he was talking about Minutemen and all that, and militia. Well, I sent him the U.S. Supreme Court law on the District of Columbia against Heller, right, which proved that under the Second Amendment, you do not have to be in a state militia to have firearms. It is a civilian's right to keep and bear arms, because basically we have National Guard, so we don't need militias in the United States. Anyways, back to what I was saying. There was this guy. He was just completely fighting with me. He wasn't sounding like a militia. He was sounding more like an insurrectionist, right? So even in a militia, you still have to be. Your militia still physically has to be called up by a state representative to make it legal. Okay, you can't just take up arms against the country. That's called insurrection. The Constitution is very clear on this matter. And this guy was, just. You're not a revolutionist. You're an insurrectionist. There's a big difference. Oh, they teach them to lie, Don. They actually teach cops to lie. That's that's why when I always get pulled over, the first thing I ask them is, "You got any stickers?" It really fucking throws them off. you know. Do you know why I pulled you over? No, you're supposed to be telling me why you pulled me over. I'm not supposed to tell you why you pulled me over. I'm not self-incriminating myself, motherfucker. Do I look stupid? Do I look like a Democrat? No. I've actually been very fortunate with law enforcement, though, because Grumpy has broken a few laws in his day. But, I have been pretty fortunate about not getting shot or beat up by law enforcement, because, But the sticker thing does work, though. It does work, though. But and the sad thing is, though, is you have too many city mayors and city councilmen that have made their law enforcement turn a blind eye to crime. Look at I think it was actually in Chicago. The police chief in Chicago actually retired here the other day, or put in his resignation, because the mayor was caught in. Yeah, don't get me started on that socialist, communist fucking twat waffle. Why Jesus Christ, that woman is stupid. The new mayor of Seattle is stupid. She makes AOC look like a genius. Okay, that's how stupid this woman is. Oh. Well, it's like they keep passing these unconstitutional millionaires tax. You can't pass a double tax. I'm sorry. Tax has to be equally. It has to be the same. It has to be equal. So if I pay 12%, the rich pay 12%. If I pay 50%, the rich pay 50%. You can't have me pay 10% and the rich pay 50%. That's not how that works. That's completely unconstitutional. It doesn't matter if the rich have more than I do. We're same, right? Because in my whole life, I will never pay what a rich person pays in taxes. Never. I want penny per penny. Never. You know. And the thing that drives me nuts is I don't have an issue with low income people. I think if you want to better yourself, but don't complain because you're low income. You could better yourself. Point blank. You can go get different trainings and different careers, and there's actually a lot of corporations that actually hire people that are low income and train them to do jobs. And helps them upgrade their career. But to physically attack the job creators, and it just boggles my mind. I mean, look what they've done to our oil refineries in California. They've taxed them to the point where all the oil refineries are shutting down. So now gas is going to be almost $20 a gallon in California. They're shutting down our main pipeline here in Washington. So gas in Washington is probably going to be $12 a gallon. Our main gas line feeds all of Oregon. So that's going to be probably 12 to $16 a gallon, right? They never look at the main, that because if we got to start waiting for frickin' oil ships to come, because California has special fuel because of Gavin Newsom. So if the refiners in California are producing that special fuel, it has to come in from an Asian country that's producing that fuel. You know how long it takes fucking a slow boat from China to get here? Weeks. So you're looking at 3,000 ships burning up billions of gallons of fuel every year just to bring a little bit of gasoline over to the United States. Morning, Porky. So if they're trying to save the environment, they did a hell of a shit job. Now we're having to use more oil tankers to bring fuel to America. It's like it's mind-boggling to me. Every time I hear liberals talk about global warming and shit like that, environmental, they cause more environmental hazard. That stupid digger down there in the lithium mines, fuck, that thing burns like what, 3,000 gallons of diesel a day. That's like what, 50,000 cars pollution a day just to make electric batteries. Like, come on, people, you're not saving the planet. You're not making the world better. You're actually causing more harm than good. That's what scares me is, when they say they're critical thinkers, they're critically dumb. Just freaking, just. Just. Hey, because it's gasoline, it's not petrol, it's not petroleum, because if we want to put petrol on it, we go get some Vaseline. It's a. Hey, you can laugh, but you pay more for petrol than we pay for gasoline. So I'd rather put gasoline in my car than your petrol. So your petroleum, and it's aluminum. I don't care. I'm not full out freaking saying the whole word on it. It's aluminum. Nope, it's aluminum foil. That's why. Hey, Epic. That's why I say I speak American and you speak English, because we don't speak the same language. It's okay. We've changed. It's like the metric and standard. Metric and standard. It wasn't that way. I think it was what in the last 50 years that England actually went to the metrics in Asia because everybody was on the standard measurement of everything. It was like 50 years ago is when they changed, something like that, 50 or 60 years ago, you know. I'm surprised you don't measure weather in Kelvin's epic. It's 566 Kelvins today. Which I like actually measuring Kelvin is actually pretty awesome. You actually get more point to the actual temperature in Kelvin than you actually do Fahrenheit or Celsius, but because you can do more measurement. That's besides the point, you know. Oh my God, there's when I say American, speak American and not English. It's the truth. We don't speak English in America. We speak fucking American. You know, come to America and you're gonna find out we do. You don't care if you go from the Northwest Coast down to California, clear across the South, back up the. We do not speak English here in America. We speak freaking American. You come here, you'll find out that you know. Especially when you get down to some of our southern states, you're like, that ain't English. It ain't English, you know. But you know, if we got rid of that stupid 1965 freaking bilingual law, we could actually have a national. We could actually have a national language and just call it Americanism, American. You know, it's not gibberish. It's sexy. It's southern. You know, but look at our founding fathers, though. I mean, our founding fathers actually spoke proper English. I think it was until like 1830 or something like that, and then the country changed over to different dialects. You know, but well, you know, I do think it's funny. What does humor me is technically, I mean, they always bring in like separation of church and state. There's no such thing because under like the 10th Amendment, each state actually can have their own state language, their own state religion, and all that. And it's actually in the 10th Amendment. Now, the federal government cannot, but each individually state can have their own actual language. You know, so as long as they don't discriminate against other people speaking, they can have their own actual physical language. Yeah, because look at even in our education system, because like you go to a lot of your other states, you had a lot of what would say like 60. I think it was like 1960s. You had actually schools teaching German and other languages in the United States. It wasn't until like the 1960s got changed over to a 100% same language. You know, we don't speak pure English. That's true because people in Wales do not speak English. I've heard that. It's not English at all. Yeah, because to actually speak pure English, you'd have to not Gaelic, but oh shit! I just had a brain fart. Hold on, I gotta pee. I'll be right back. It'll probably come to me when I'm taking a whiz. Probably not, but you know. I'll tell you one thing that's starting to drive me nuts, though. YouTubers starting to burn my ass. You know what I'm talking about? Well, you probably don't, but I'm telling you. So they're starting to throw my shorts back out there, right? So like a lot of my older shorts now are back on for viewing and all that, and they're getting a lot of likes and a lot more views. But they keep digging my live stream, so I can't get out in the algorithms to keep me pushing. So it's starting to drive me nuts. Seattle's metropolitan city. It's it's huge. Well, Seattle's actually like multiple cities to one. I mean, especially if you go up Madrid, shit. First, trying to think of because you got Shoreline. Well, you got a lot of cities connected to Seattle. Seattle itself is actually not that big. It's where all the skyscrapers are all though. It's just so smelly anymore. The city I like is the UK is designed after to look like California. Anybody want to go? So you have a whole bunch of Spanish style looking homes in your town? Is that what you're saying? I live in Milton Keynes, it's almost unique city. So it's basically you have a Spanish style city. Not really. I mean, it's because you really can't give any credit to Mexico because Mexico really hasn't done shit. Spain did. Spain brought a lot of culture. Mexico really hasn't done shit in over 150 years. ever, ever since they kicked Spain out, Mexico really has gone downhill. Very nice, you know. I like underground houses. I keep thinking about building an earth ship. I don't know if you know what an earth ship is, but it's basically your house is underground. But it takes less to heat and cool it. I think all homes should be built underground. You know, I think it'd be cooler. A whole bunch of homes. We all live like hobbits, right? But we so much if we'd save our forests instead of cutting all of our forests down for build new homes. You know, I think so. Don't you guys still do a lot of brick and mortar over in England though? You guys still do build a lot of brick homes. You don't build a lot of wood homes. Have you heard about the Belchi? It's 5 minute drive from me. Look it up. It's amazing. I will look it up. I like to look up new things. It always intrigues me to look up new things. But right? Hey, go to New York. You can literally what is it, $1,500 a month to actually rent a closet. They call them apartments, but they're just closets. You know, your low income housing that they build, your little special 100. I think they're under 90 square feet, 100 square feet, something like that. They are not freaking. You can put a bed in there. And then you have shared bathrooms and shared kitchens. Actually, I don't think you have shared kitchens. You got to get little cookware and microwaves and things. They are not, you know. But I've always thought though, and that's pretty good for Seattle. That's actually pretty decent. I've always thought though. I mean, that they say that we have too many semi trucks on the road. That I think we should put in more rail hub yards. Where they go into DC transfer state. I think the railroad should go into actual physical areas where there's rail X and rail hub yards. Where they and then it gets transported through the cities because a lot of these big metropolitan cities were never designed for the semi trucks that we have today. They were designed for little tiny 40-foot trailers, 28-foot trailers. I grew up here, but only knew about recently. Nice. So I will check that out though. Of course, the BS thing is though, is I really actually in the next 10 years I actually want to go travel the world on a sailboat. I don't think the world's going to be a safe place in 10 years. I know it ain't safe right now to travel. But I was like, yeah, that's my main thing in life was I was just going to retire on a sailboat. Well, it actually kind of is because she could move down to Texas and get like a 5-bedroom house for like 1,000. So or cheaper. Because when I lived in Texas before I moved back to Washington, I rented a 4-bedroom home on 2 acres. It was $650 a month. You know, groceries were cheaper, gas was cheaper. It is cheaper to live in a red state. It is. It is a lot cheaper to live in a red state. You know, which I might next year. I'm gonna start looking into buying a home in a red state and get out of my. Montana's expensive. Montana's cost you more to live than frickin' Washington. Montana's gotten stupid priced. Kind of like Idaho. Idaho's gotten stupid priced too because you had all the Californians move up to Idaho and Montana. It's gotten stupid. Nothing's cheap there anymore. Further south, you know, Utah's still a little bit cheap. Kansas, Missouri, the Dakotas are still pretty cheap. The whole entire southern coastline from Texas all the way to Georgia is still pretty cheap. Florida's getting a little bit more expensive. South and North Carolina, ungodly. Pennsylvania's still pretty reasonable. Arkansas is nice. There's some expensive places in Arkansas, though. I have a few mates in Montana. I've been all over Montana. So. I know, I've always threatened to buy an island. I mean, islands are actually pretty decently. I was looking at an island the other day. It was like 2.2 acres. It was $36,000. You know, you'd have to put a desalination machine in though, so you could have fresh water. But other than that, it's not so bad. And you don't have any building codes because it's your freaking island. So all you do is go out and get some of those free boats that are just kind of like just paddling, just floating around the freaking ocean. Drag it and pull it up on shore. And just kind of put a whole bunch of boats up on shore there. You got a freaking little island paradise. Because there's a lot of yachts just floating around the ocean, just abandoned, from hurricanes and so there's nobody aboard them. So For my work profession, I'm bound to be in the urban areas. Fucking, oh, where all these fucking bugs came from. I don't like bugs. But of course, as a farmer, you always have bugs. You can't get away from the bugs. But I don't like them. If you know, the birds are pretty much ate all the wasps and bees. They're a pretty short seasonal thing up here. The birds pretty much annihilate them up here. Oh, that was another thing that was humor me that was it 10 years ago that we're running out of bees in the world. Well, technically, bees in America were brought over from Europe. Sheep, cattle, horses, all that. We didn't have any of that fancy dancy shit here in the Americas. That was all brought over by Spain and England and the French and shit like that. We have so many invasive species that were brought over by the Europeans that were never in America in the first place. But anyways, back to my bee thing is we farm raise bees, like 1 trillion of them a year. We're never going to run out of bees. But you have that big hype here that, we're killing off bees. We're not. Even if you killed 100 billion a year, next year we're going to have 100 trillion more bees farm raised. So it's not, it's not because go drive by a freaking apple orchard. Go drive by a freaking apple orchard during pollination. Trust me, you'll probably wipe out 10,000 bees every time you drive by that son of a bitch. Just your fucking window's gonna be caked in bees. So, yeah, that was a. Well, then the one I love most, so is they talk about if all the glaciers melt, the Earth's going to flood. You can go fill up your bathtub full of water and take a cup full of ice and dump it in there. That's about the extent if all polar caps melted. That it's not going to do major amount of damage, but the only thing that would happen if all the polar ice caps, north and south caps melted, the only thing that's going to happen is we're going to go into a more tropical climate and we're going to have a lot more rain. We'll have no deserts. And that's about it. So it might be a little hotter, but hey, Tay, it might be a little warmer, a little bit more muggier, but that's about it. We won't have any winter anymore. Everywhere will just be tropical. So. That's about it. So. Ooh, did you see the amount of damage? Yeah. So apparently this is supposed to be our worst El Nino season ever for England. that was pretty funny. Sorry about your luck there, Epic, but apparently you're in for a long, wet frickin' season, according to the scientist. We were talking about silly people protesting immigration laws and getting their ass beat. That was like an hour ago. Then we moved to a few other topics. We were talking about, and I got moved on to killing bees and global warming, which is always a funny topic to me. But I don't know. What do you want to talk about? Normally, I actually really like when the chat kicks in on a topic. It's always fun that way. But all I have is coyotes. I'd rather have foxes than coyotes. Coyotes are a lot cuter, or foxes are way cuter than coyotes. Annoying little yappers, though. But what a mix. I like it. Hey, if I ever come up with one, well, as soon as I get my laptop and I can actually start showing videos and things, we'll actually have set actual shows of what we're going to talk about. But I like open commentary. I think it's fun for me. So I do need to get a laptop though, so we can have more actual set discussions. So on physical, because I learned most people they they get when they go watch other YouTubers, they don't really go to watch the YouTuber themselves, the content of the YouTuber speaks. They mainly go to watch the videos. And my thought process is, if I wanted to watch that same video, I would just go watch the video. I don't need to go watch another person's opinion on it. How are the babies? The babies are quirky. They're bouncy little turkeys. I was going to go down here as soon as the old people house opens up in another hour, and I'm going to get them little overalls. I'm going to take some videos of them bouncing around in little overalls. Make them little farmers. So I think that'd be cute. Dress them up like little farmer, little hillbillies. So that was my plan for the day. But I don't have any baby clothes anymore because I got rid of all my grandson's clothes. So I gotta go buy some. I gotta go buy some baby overalls. So, and then on top of it, I gotta catch. I gotta catch them. I gotta catch them. So the first few days they were coming up to me and they're like, "Oh, hello, Mister," and they're like, "No, I don't want gloves because I like to pick them up and I like to love on them. Because that's how you do imprint trading. You gotta just get your scent all over them. And the cute thing about baby goats don't stink. Big goats stink. But baby goats, no, they're cute. Do you have a product for the produce you make from them, Grumpy? I actually don't do anything with they're just yard ornaments. I just have them for weed control. Is about all I have the goats for. I mean, I could. I mean, that was weird. I mean, two of them actually came off a creamery. They are milk goats. So, but I could probably be getting a gallon of milk plus a day, maybe 2 gallons a day. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do with 2 gallons of goat milk though. I guess I could be making a shit ton of cheese, but a lot of people don't like goat milk, so I'm actually a big fan of cow's milk. But well, did you see my shorts? I'm trying to make my own beer or a moonshine. I was actually I made short clips looking for startup sponsors or investors. Because why not have a grumpy beer? Mm-hmm. The one it says overly hoppy and full of opinion or opinionated. It's actually you'll have to go check it out. If I go check out my shorts, it was you know I think I missed my calling when it came to oh shit what you make commercials. Uh, Damn it, I know what the word's called. Yeah, there's a few permits and things you got to have to produce alcohol, especially for human consumption, special tanks and all that. But if I find that one fancy rich guy though that'll give me $1 million, I'd be set. I'd make a whole bunch of beer. You know, but it's a lot easier to produce beer than it is to grow marijuana. That's always, those marijuana permits were stupid because I was like, yeah, I could build me like 10 greenhouses and make a shit ton of marijuana. And I don't smoke marijuana, but doesn't mean I couldn't grow it and sell it to people that do smoke it because there's a lot of hemp shops around me. But that was like $1 million for that stupid grower's permit, and they only gave out so many permits. It was kind of a scam, really. You know. But yeah, I figured if I had 5 greenhouses, large greenhouses, I could probably be making $5-10 million a year just growing marijuana. All right. But they had so many rules. I mean, you had to have a certain height fence. Everything had to be completely secured and seclusion. It was like, it was really dumb, right? So, I mean, hey, I like investors. So, and if I had to go get me one of those kegerator thingers, I mean, I could make my own mix of beer real quick, just sample it out. I'm like, yeah, this is my beer. Try it. Just go get like 4 or 5 of those kegerators. Make a mix. I've made beer before. Making beer is simple. I blew one up one time because my stupid because when beer's with the yeast and all that, you have to have a pressure release cap on your. So I might have put way too much fluid into my kegerator, and it plugged up my exhaust, and it blew the fucking keg up. It's oh, my house stank of yeast for about a month, even after I cleaned it up. What's up, Stevie? So, but yeah, shit, it made the one kegerator I had. Fuck, it made. I think it was 3 gallons. You know, the only problem with it though is if you don't automatically like jar it right away and you leave it in the kegerator, it goes bad very fast. It goes so. It loses its. Um, but making alcohol is pretty simple. I mean, shit. Even if you just want to have some cheap wine, just go get some 100% concentrated juice, and go get some brewer's yeast. Take it off and dump it in there. Mix it all up, and then put a balloon over top with a rubber band. You can have 20% frickin' wine in 30 days. You know. I know people say making alcohol. It's not hard to make alcohol. You know. Now, when you get into like your whiskeys and things like that, there's a lot more stipulation on how to do it properly because it can make you sick. But. Well, yeah, you need to. They come out and inspect your stuff, and sample and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just typical food grade. Anything that has to do with human consumption has to be inspected. You're not talking major things though, major issues. You got a buddy. He actually has a small brewery. He makes his. So it's technically it's a beer hub, but it's a brewery. So he has a bunch of little little keg riggers in his back in his cooler that he makes beer, and then he sells it on tap. So, which is cool because you can sample a lot of free beer if you actually buy a beer. You don't give a shit. He retired. He opened it. He's like, I'm not trying to get rich. I'm just finding people to drink with. So you get a lot of free. What's so that that's one that just drives me absolutely fucking nuts about bars, right? So I can go to a brewery and taste all the free beer I want. All the free beer I want. All freaking want. They can give me free beer. I can go to winery, get free wine all day long. You go to a fucking bar though, they tell you they can't have a punch card. Right? If I bought 12 beers, I want the 13th one free. I don't see why that would. It's such a because they can give me little tasters of whiskey like that, so you can pour me a little snip in a shot glass, but you can't give me a free beer. I'm calling bullshit. I really am, Because even on tap beers, they can give you a little snort of what the beer tastes like before they pour you a glass. So I think that's a bunch of horse shit. Don't you think so? I think so. I just think they're cheap and they don't want to do it. Yes. I don't think they're real. I'll have to look, but I don't really think there is a law that says you can't have. You can. I can see it with hard alcohol, but I don't see it with beer. The beer punch card. Yeah. Just because you can buy drink chips. So what would be the difference of just give me a card and just give me a chip, right? Doesn't mean I got to use my chip right then and there. I can come back and use my chip. But well, I kept thinking, because my grumpy hangout, I sound more like a bar than I do a YouTuber anyway. So I was like, fuck it, you know what? Let's make my own beer. Find me an investor. Because I mean, I do live in a prime location to make beer. I mean, I got wheat and barley and hops everywhere around me. You know, vast supply of it. So why not? I'm not really a big fan of IPAs though, but they really do sell big in college towns. IPAs. They college kids love IPAs. I don't know why, but they're really big. I've lost everybody. Shit. Oh no, there somebody came back. Just to, you guys got to stick with me for 37 more minutes before I got to go to town. We're back to town. I've already been in town twice this morning. I go to town a lot, to tell you the truth. I go to town a lot. Oh. Funny thing is, I hate going to town. But I go to town a lot, so. To town. Where's my little ukulele? We'll play a rock song. We'll be like, I gotta learn how to play guitar again. We'll be just like, mother, sister, go to goat, goat, go to goat, goat. I got the goats, goats. It's the goaty goat song. Don't ask me, I can't play. I really need to tune this thing. gonna get hit again by another stupid song thing, though. I can see YouTube. He was singing, so now I can't be singing Rushka. Oh, poor Russia, if I sing, you can't hear my show. I feel sorry for you, poor Rusky. Long, long time ago, my comrades, my comrades. I should probably bring my real guitar in here. I have a real guitar, but kind of annoying sound, isn't it? Yuki was supposed to teach me how to play, but she kind of burned me off. She was like, "Fuck that guy," you know, whatever. Once there was this pretty girl somewhere in the dark side of hell. Oh yeah, dark side of hell. The devil man, he sent me a blue-eyed demon. He tried to persuade me from heaven. Oh yeah, I have no idea. I'm just bored right now. The devil sent me a blue-eyed demon. She was pretty as could be. Oh yeah. I know, I'm just freaking bored, so I'm going off on the devils and the hills and the lives I live. Whoa, woman, be nice to me. Bring me back my soul that you stole away. I'm killing 37 minutes, don't ask me. And Grumpy can't sing, so it's fine. Whoa, woman, why don't you be nice to me? Give me back my soul that you stole away. Oh, yes, I don't know. I could play my little skin flute. might be a good song, you know. Stala Mulan, long trail traveling. It's the railroad tracks. There we go. It's trail tracks. It's train tracks. There we go. It's coming. It's coming. You got a song coming. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Oh, woman, be nice to me. Living in the dark side of the moon. You stole my soul. Put my map away. Put my map away. I don't know. Oh, diggity Dan. Diggity, diggity, diggity down. Diggity down. Ew, I played the battle. We played the battle. We're black. That bottle where you played. Choo choo. I think it's better if you add water to them. They make different sounds if you add water to them. Oh, you know what I have right here somewhere? I have a washboard. I could play my washboard with me spoons. No, why? I think that does not go on there. Get some old rhythm going on here. Let me tell you about the Lord of Jesus. Oh, praise the Lord. Lordy, Lordy Jesus. Yeah. He died for your sins. Hanging upon the cross. That'd probably be more for a Sunday thing. Jesus, oh Jesus, don't you be giving me my sins. Oh Jesus, take away the pain and glories. I'm bored. I'm lost on me people. Straight out conversations, you know, just sit here. There once was a man from Nantucket that had a woo so big he could suck it. Just that is not a good child. I'm probably going to drop. That was not child appropriate. No shit. What do you do? What are you going to do? I don't know. So, 27 more minutes. 27 more minutes on Saturday. I can go back to town. Back to town. Back to town. Whoa, whoa. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. You don't care for music, do you? What goes the fourth and fifth? Oh shit! I forget the words to the song. Hallelujah, hallelujah. You know, if I could actually remember a song, that'd probably be really good, though. You know. Oh, what was that one? Sister cries out from a baby bed. Brother runs in, feathers on his head. Mama's in a room, learning how to sew. Daddy's drinking beer, listening to the radio. Yeah, something like that. And William sings Elijah and even John. And time marches on. I kind of remember that one. There it goes. Sisters using rouge, clear complexion soap. Brothers smoking beat, or brothers wearing beads and he smokes a lot of dope. Mama is depressed, barely makes a sound. Daddy's got a girlfriend in another town. Oh, then Bob Dylan sings like the Rolling Stones, yeah. And then it goes, time marches on to north moves south, south moves north. A star is born, a star burns out. Everything changes. Time marches on. It goes. Sister calls herself a sexy grandma. Brother's on a diet with high cholesterol. Mama's out of touch with reality. Daddy's in the ground beneath the maple tree as the angels sing an old Hank Williams song. Yeah, I kind of remember that. I think I screwed the whole song up. I was close. Right. You paint me in Birmingham. I could actually, I should actually just type out the Grumpy song. I could just start singing the Grumpy song because I have my own song. I have my own song. It's the Grumpy song. I do. I have my own theme song page too. I should figure out how I could play it on the show though. If my tablet worked, that'd be so much cooler because I could go to my Discord and pull up my song and I could play because they can't get me for copyright because it's my fucking song. Well, I can say that one. You're copying it's my own fucking song. You can't copyright me for my own song. So, that would be pretty funny though. Just life in general, they'd be giving me a copyright for my own song. That's what YouTube does. Just to ding you down. Ding it dance, ding it ding, ding it dong, ding 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 ding. It's on the radio. Let's find out what's on the radio. That's too much. Like when I'm low, sun when it starts to storm. Another one, you let it go. Chilling time. Eyes on your foot low. Nothing possible. Travel when you let it go. Oh, let it go. Let it go. Totally gotta do a live stream with Baby Goat song now. Trey! When absolute power meets the unwinding purpose of the results, it's Trey! That's a stone. You love it when you let it go. This is all fucked up. Hell yeah, dude. I went to bed at like 1 and I got up at like 4:45. That was a good night's sleep. I mean, I didn't physically get out of bed till like 7:30, but I was awake. You know. which is always good, you know. So I kind of got 6 hours, 7 hours of rest. Yeah. Man, man. Yeah. Do I partake in? Do you partake in grumpy? Like what kind of grumpy? I'm confused in the question. Hola. Spin. No, I don't. It would affect my government clearances and all that. So no, I don't partake in 420. I like money. I know. Um, um, I did back in high school though. Partook in the 420s. I like it. I'm waiting for it to go kaboom. Which, if I had my laptop, I could actually make it go kaboom during the show. But you know. There's always that one. Do you not like my green screen there? Smile. Oh, Brittany on X is such a bitch. I don't like her. I don't like her at all. You know, she's a snarly little bitch. Cause I gotta really be. Oh shit! I could have. Epic. Look, I had my beard. Oh man, I could have shaved my beard. See, it's grumpy beard. The tit farts. The tit farts. It's a good brew. Hey, here comes the wind. Yeah, I got this. I was thinking about this. Well, they only got the two? Oh, that's bullshit. Let's leave the Grumpy Bear. I like it anyways. Just see if I can get a sponsor for my to produce my own liquor, my own beer. I wonder if I can get trouble for that. It's like, come help with the next Grumpy Beer. Nah. That's kind of racist there, JM. That's extremely bigoted of you to say that. I mean, I do partake in white trash bags though. Does that count for white trash bags? Does that add to your commentary there? Oh, JM. It's kind of weird to say though, because you're primarily rich areas are white in the United States. No, that's kind of cool. Umba, Jamaica, I wanna take you to the Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. Lago, Rodrigo, 81. There's a place called Kokomo. That's where you wanna go. Take me away from the snow. Bodies in the sand.
This is Yakula's greatest hits. One great song after another. Right there, right? Oh, yeah. This is 100.9 Cherry FM.
Self portrait. 12 more minutes. Thank you. I try to be the best. Best in myself. That's all. But all you can do is be the best of yourself. You hit the gym.
This is Live FM, good time with people. 100.9 Cherry FM.
Here go. Oh, here go.
I'm sure you'll be amazed. It's fun to be had by everyone. To you, so they can be done. I'm doing it, I'm trying. Just one try, and you two will be gone. It's gonna freak. They're doing it every day. I promise we'll show you. Oh, knock you down. As your head is spinning all around. Feel the rhythm, shake the lines. Come on, along and have a real good time. Okay, stop it, boy. Now wait, oh my joy. Just come on down to the boy. One song, I'm on the floor. Listen, listen, freak out. No,
Oh, that's all right.
I said freak. Now freak. All that pressure, got you down. As your head is spinning all around. Feel the rhythm, and fly. Come walk along and have a real good time. Okay,
I had a question. I'm down to my last minutes anyways because I got to run back to town. But does that look like a Democrat? What do you think? Good resemblance of a Democrat? Huh? Well, anyways, but that was the beer I was telling you about, though. Epic. That I want to get going. I mean, would you not do that? I don't know if you can read the bottom of the can, but move my hand out of the way though. A little hoppy, a little opinionated. 6.9% alcohol, 12 fluid ounces of grumpiness. Trey came first, Buster. Don't you think so, though? I think that'd be good beer, right? 6.8, right? And then, I mean, if you go to the desk, I have so much more. But then I got this one. This was everybody seemed like this one. Grumpy's apple smoke bacon moonshine. Mm-hmm. You don't think it looked like a Democrat? I think it was pretty Democratic. I told you here though. Hey, I put a whole 5 minutes into that. You know, nobody said I was an artiste. No one said I was an artist. But no, God damn it, wrong fucking button. I think these ones were the best though. My cinnamon roll grumpies, 100 proof grumpy cinnamon roll. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot about the Discord. I posted a whole bunch of. I had some. Penelope gave me some ideas on some moonshine, so I might have went a little crazy on making different. There's one I liked the most. It was called Slinger Strawberry, but it can't be shown on Discord on the YouTube because they would kick my ass because you can't show pew pews when you're a political. Because when I set everything up, I set up as a political commentator. There's certain things you can't come out and say. Now, if I want to, stupid thing is, I should have signed up as like a woodsman or something like survival show, and then I could have showed all my pew pews and But apparently, if you're a news or if you go a political, you can't have anything about gins. Stupid. Is that Porky in the Jar? It could have been Porky in the Jar. Yes, unfortunately, pork shares my ability to have intimidating healing factors. It does. I like pork. I'm a big fan of the pork. But the stupid thing was, though, is when I was doing it, I don't know why it put the bacon in. There was supposed to be no bacon in the jar. No bacon. But for some reason, you can't trust AI. It was just supposed to be the apple smoked bacon flavor. It wasn't supposed to be a jar full of freaking bacon, but Oh, I do. I eat a lot of pork, and it's because Porky's in the jar now, dude. I chopped his ass up and I made him all flavory. So, like I always say, you can't trust the grumpy one on his average days. He'll bring something around, but what the fuck? No. Well, gentlemen, I gotta go back to town. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's always a pleasure when you guys come and hang out with me, but I've got some good daddles. Like I always say, you can't be happy. Let's be grumpy, and I'll see you all later. In the stream, you say.